अष्टोत्तर शती भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस प्रजाकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतशिल भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर महाराज की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय। रामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। वृंदावन धाम की जय। मथुरा धाम की जय। पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। श्री मायापुर नवदीप धाम की जय। गंगा माई की जय। यमुना माई की जय। तुलसी देवी की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। गौर प्रेमानंदे। All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जाय उदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। So we are reading from Canto 11, Chapter 10, entitled The Nature of Fruitive Activity, Text 20. Konvartha sukhatyenam kamo va mrityurantike आघातम नियमानस्य वध्यस्यैव न तुष्टिदाम्। कोन्वर्थः सुखत्येनं कामो वा मृत्युरन्तिके आघातम नियमानस्य वध्यस्यैव न तुष्टिदाम्। कोन्वर्थः सुखत्येनं कामो वा मृत्युरन्तिके आघातं नियमानस्य वध्यस्यैव न तुष्टिदाम्। आगातम यमानस्य सेवा न तुष्टि। माता जी पुनर्था सुखत्येनं को वा मृत्युरन्तिके कह what? Nu Certainly, artha, material object, sukhayati, gives happiness, enam, to a person, kamaha, sense gratification derived from material things, va, or mrityu, death, antike, standing nearby, aghatam, to the place of execution, niyamanasya, of one who is being led, vadyasya, of one who is to be killed, eva, like, no, not at all, tushtida, gives satisfaction. Translation: death is not at all pleasing, and since everyone is exactly like a condemned man being led to the place of execution, what possible happiness can people derive from material objects or the gratification they provide? Purport by the disciples of Srila Prabhupada. It is customary throughout the world that a condemned man is offered a sumptuous last meal. For the condemned man, however, such a feast is a chilling reminder of his imminent death, and therefore he cannot enjoy it. Similarly, no sane human being can be satisfied in material life, because death is standing near and may strike at any moment. If one is sitting in one's living room with a deadly snake at one's side, knowing that at any moment the poisonous fangs might pierce the flesh, how can one sit peacefully and watch television or read a book? Similarly, unless one is more or less crazy, one cannot be enthusiastic or even peaceful in material life. Knowledge of the inevitability of death should encourage one to become determined in spiritual life. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Nama Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swam Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapadakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavasha Shri Rupam Sagrajatan Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitasha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Runda Vaneshwari Rushabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktarunda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Death is not at all pleasing, and since everyone is exactly like a condemned man being led to the place of execution, what possible happiness can people derive from material objects on the gratification they provide? Hare Krishna, seeking the blessings of all the assembled Vaishnavas so that I can speak something on this particular verse. So, in this verse, it is mentioned that, any moment the poisonous fangs might pierce the flesh. And the desire, the last wish of a person who is who is laid down, whose head is to be cut off. So we have heard this in many times in many dramas or movies कि तुम्हारी अंतिम इच्छा क्या है बताओ. And this particular verse is now giving the purport on this. What should be the desire at the last time of, at the time of death. So a few years back, in there was a serial which used to come on Animal Planet called The Crocodile Hunter, The Croc Files. That was the name of that serial. I don't know how many of you have seen or heard about this, but there used to be a Australian zookeeper, and his name was Steve Irwin. And this fellow and his wife also, they used to be always seen with crocodiles. Of course, they were saving crocodiles and, so they were serving the community of crocodiles actually, and reptiles. So they'll be seen with some snakes, some deadly snake they will catch and try to save them. That was their, and it used to be shot live. And then those things were shown, telecast. So this person, once in year 2006, they were making one documentary called Ocean's Deadliest. And he was underwater and under the sea, inside the sea, the shooting was going on. And while this was happening, they were doing some research on stingray. And this stingray, one of the stingray barb, actually pierced his heart and killed. And they are poisonous. Instantly, he died there. So you can imagine that person who is thinking about all these reptiles, all these crocodiles and all these fishes. And the name of the documentary was Ocean's Deadliest. And he died in that ocean in the association of stingrays. What an unfortunate situation for him. Similarly, so this is one aspect of it. And a few years back, I was doing book distribution along with devotees at Kurla station. And while I was doing this book distribution, one lady, middle-aged lady, she came to me and she said, I want to buy Bhagavad Gita. So I was happy that, somebody is coming forward and asking, I want Bhagavad Gita. So I asked, how many Bhagavad Gitas you want? She said, 30. So I was very happy, almost jumping. So I said, yes, definitely we can provide you. So I just asked you out of curiosity, why you want? So she said, no, I want to send it to my village. There was some death which took place, and I want to distribute Bhagavad Gita because of that. I said, fine. So I said, there are 30 books, so it's a box, one box. So we will personally come and deliver it to your house. Please give your address. And me and one more devotee, we both went and we actually gave the books. And when we started interacting with this family, so we got to know that she has two young sons in the age of 24, 25, and of course her husband was there, and husband's mother, old mother was there, and she was lying on the bed, very old, maybe in 90s, maybe. So then they were telling that, okay, how pious our family is, how my grandmother, she used to read Ramayana so much. So I said, we can do something for your grandmother. She's almost on her last last breath. So I said, we can come and do kirtan. And then so we said that we'll come sometime and then we'll do this. And then we went again for doing kirtan and all those things for them. And then again, while interaction, these two young boys, they were really wonderful. I mean, it's very rare to see at that age, young boys leaving everything and serving grandmother. One of them actually had quit his job and he was full-time taking care of his grandmother. And then actually we are just asking, and then we are reading Bhagavad Gita also. And then one amazing thing which they told us, which was shocking, of course. They said that actually our grandmother, she wants, one of the boys, he said that she wants me to get married and she wants to come back as my daughter. I said, what is this? I mean, you are reading Ramayana, you are studying so much, but now you are saying that I want to come back. I said, I should have given coming back also to her as a book to read. But she said, then he said, no, this is not just her wish. This is going on in tradition. And then they started telling us that how from they used to live once upon a time, the earlier generation used to live in Karachi or Lahore, somewhere in Pakistan. So she said that we have come back, you know. So they know. And I said that you must maybe just joking, you know, must be telling something. He said, no. Actually, one of the family members, they actually knew where they used to live, and they actually, that when they was in a childhood, actually told where they used to live. I said, this is shocking. I said, now we need to change this. We need to stop this, you know, of this coming back again and again in this parampara. So I said that please read this Bhagavad Gita and, you know, please read it out to her so that she leaves and she goes. So anyway, I don't know what happened to her. Of course, I was there when she left, but where she went, we don't know. Whether they are, now this son has daughter, so I don't know whether she's the same or no. But you know, that is the coming back thing. And even there was one warrior there was English warrior and poet. His name was Sir Walter Raleigh, and he was to be executed. The king told that he should be killed, and he was lying on the beheading block. And the executioner asked this Walter Raleigh that he asked him to kneel, and he's with his head towards the east. I said, I don't know what is the reason of that, but he said that head should be towards the east. And the interesting thing which this Sir Walter Raleigh said, no matter how the head lies, provided the heart is in the right direction. Now, this is coming from a person, I mean, we have heard this philosophy that where our heart should be when we are leaving this body. But this is coming from this person, and when I heard this, it was really, you know, like, you know, at this is many years back, many years back, centuries back. So, you know, this is the consciousness which we should look at. And we have wonderful examples in our own movement, the way Srila Prabhupada left his body, then various legacy, His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, our own God brothers, His Grace Stoka Krishna Prabhu. So we have such wonderful examples how we can live our body in a right consciousness, in a right environment. Now, of course, these are the examples which we have to take inspiration from. Not all the times we don't know whether devotees will be there around or not, but at least our consciousness should be right. So that is what we should always aspire for. So we have heard this statement that life is a preparation and death is the examination. So in this verse also it is mentioned that we are trying to be happy in this material life. But this death is the examination. Before the actual death comes, this final exam comes, we have so many other unit tests. There is a final exam in semesters or first year, and there is a third year, fourth year. But during that, there are unit tests which come. So many unit tests are also coming in our life also. You know, various miseries which are coming, Adi Daivik, Adhyatmik, Adi Bhautik, all these miseries are coming in our life, and also coming in people around us. And actually all these tests which are coming, they are teaching us something or other. If it is not coming in our life for so much, but at least we see there are people who are dying, people who are suffering, and these are actually the tests which are given and to them, to us. So we have to prepare ourselves for this final exam. That's the most important thing. And how well we are prepared is the most important thing. So my wife, she's doing her master's degree, and she was telling me a few days back she had one exam and she had to write, it was a lengthy paper. And she said that out of those 50 marks, I could complete only 30. Of course, so we never know that when that final bell will be rung, And the examiner will come and we may say, I want to write, I want to write. But the examiner in the form of death, he will take away our paper. He said that enough, I had given you enough time. No more supplements, no more paper, no more writing. It will be just taken away. So if you are not prepared, then what will remain is just regret and disappointment. So we don't want to be in that position. So the scriptures also provide us a lot of information about death. There's so many pastimes which are there in Bhagvatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, which talks about death. Bhagvatam, the 5th canto, 26th chapter also describes about 28 types of hells. A sinful person can go through these things. And it is really scary. And a person who is committing sins, when he realizes this, that I may have to go through this, then he may change mind, or he or she may think that, better I should stop this. So scriptures are giving us the knowledge about death. But as a devotees, or for even general person, the fear of death is there. Fear of death is there. But the most important, if you have to be fearful or having some fear, it should be a fear of our spiritual death. The spiritual death is very scary, especially after knowing so much of philosophy, so much of understanding. This is something which we have to guard against. So what could be the causes? There may be many reasons for a spiritual death. One could be just the complacency in our life, that I have taken up, I got to introduce now to Hare Krishna, I am practicing, but just the complacency. Now I am in the part of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement, so my spiritual master will take me back to Godhead. It is his responsibility. That may be the thought, and we may become complacent. But the most important fear for the spiritual death is Vaishnava Aparadha, or criticizing the devotees. We have to guard against this. And over a period of time, what happens is that we start becoming familiar with devotees, with each other, and we take each other for granted. This happens in the family life as well as brahmachari life also. We start just taking our devotee friends as granted, or sometimes even spiritual master also for granted. So this is something which really we need to guard against. So I came across one nice presentation, or it's an illumination which was given by His Grace Mahatma Prabhu, disciple of Srila Prabhupada. And so I thought that we can just share these things. So some of the quotes, one of the things which he said, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that one who criticizes, if one criticizes or offends my devotees, he will be destroyed by chanting my holy name. My holy name itself will destroy. Like you see the example of how Durvasa Muni and Amrish Maharaj's episode, the Lord's Sudarshan Chakra itself was following Durvasa Muni. So we may not realize, but the holy name is like that Sudarshan. It is giving the darshan. It has that power also. So that itself can kill us, destroy us. In purport, Srila Prabhupada actually mentions that we can tolerate scorching heat on our head. The sun is shining, and on head we can tolerate. But it is difficult to tolerate on the feet, especially when we go for yatra and we are walking barefoot, in Vrindavan or Jagannath Puri. This year we will go to Jagannath Puri on the beach. It will be very hot in the afternoon. You can't keep your feet. You have to search for some shelter, some shade where you can walk. And if it is not, you have to just start running. So, very interesting, very nice thing where Prabhupada writes that actually the devotees are at the feet of the Lord. And if we offend those devotees who are sitting at the feet of the Lord will not tolerate that heat of offenses to the lotus feet, the devotees who are sitting at the lotus feet. So we have to be extremely careful not to offend the devotees. And our success in bhakti actually depends on the blessings of the devotees. Without the blessings of the devotees, we cannot do any progress. And if we offend them, then what will happen? We are actually cutting ourselves from this connection to the blessings, which is required to maintain our Krishna conscious life. So we do not have to pull, very interesting, very nice analogies that he says, that don't pull the plug of our spiritual life support system. So devotees are the life support system of our spiritual life. But by offending them, we may just pull the plug out. And then the death is just a matter of time. Now there are many things may happen that, sometimes we talk loosely and offend devotees. And what will happen is that we may actually not fall down. We may just carry on with our own things. We will continue practicing our Krishna consciousness, doing services, and we may not actually fall down. And we may think, oh, it's okay to speak like this, it's okay to behave like this. But ultimately, finally that plug will be removed. And we don't know, before actually dying spiritually, we may go into coma. We may be wearing tilak, we may be wearing Vaishnava clothes, maybe chanting also. But we are in coma. We are not accessing the mercy of the Lord. So this is a very miserable and very scary thing to guard against the offenses. We see from various episodes in the scriptures, the tendency to criticize actually carries forward. At the time of death, it's not that our tendency will go. In next birth also it will carry forward. So we see the example of Daksha, Prajapati Daksha. He offended Lord Shiva. And in his next life, the same tendency was there and he offended Narad Muni. So that tendency will carry on. So we need to stop this somewhere. It's very, very essential thing that we should work on, from preventing ourselves from committing such mistakes. The another thing which is mentioned in this particular verse is that knowledge of the inevitability of death should encourage one to become determined in spiritual life. So we will just discuss something about this determination aspect also. So if you look at the life and people around, there are so many people, they have determination. And there are so many triggers for them to become determined. So if you see a film star or a sports star, a successful sports star, they are so determined. Because without determination to practice and exercise or years in whatever profession they have, or a businessman, he has to put in so much efforts with determination. Without that, they cannot achieve the success. So determination is a very important virtue for anyone in life. And various triggers are there for this determination. So I just thought of, what could be the triggers. And I felt that dharma, artha, kama and moksha, this could be like some of the 4 triggers which can lead to determination. And there are some episodes from the scriptures also where we can see this. Like for example, Yudhishthir Maharaj was so attached to speaking the truth, following that dharma, his dharma. But Krishna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, when he wanted Dronacharya to be killed, he made Yudhishthira to speak the words which he did not want to. But he convinced him, and ultimately Dronacharya was killed. Similarly, if you see the life of Dhruva Maharaj was insulted. He wanted to be on that lap of his mother, and he was removed from that position. So he wanted to have that kingdom. He wanted that position that no one can touch him, no one can throw him off from that position. So he showed that determination, okay, that I will go to the forest, of course on the instruction of his mother. And when Narad Muni meets him and tells him that, okay, it's okay, why are you going? He actually tries to test him that, okay, why you have to go? But then he said, no, I have to do this. So, of course, later on, Dhruva Maharaj, although his initial aspiration was to have that position, later on he says that, okay, I was searching for these broken pieces of glass, but when I am getting the diamonds. And of course, he achieved the success when the Lord personally came and gave darshan to him. We also see from the life of Bilva Mangal Thakur how he was determined. We all heard and seen the wonderful drama which was performed many years back by Adikeshav Prabhu, Trivikram Prabhu. It was such a wonderfully depicted that he was so determined to meet this Chintamani, and he crosses the river with the help of the dead body, corpse floating in the river, and then trying to climb up the wall with a rope, which is actually a snake. So much of determination was shown by him. But once he goes there and Chintamani actually opens, he is a prostitute, actually opens his heart and says that, why can't you use the same determination to achieve the bhakti of the Lord, the devotional service of the Lord? So that was the kind of trigger which came in his life, Bilva Mangal Thakur's life. And it just did not end at that. So when he was on the way to Vrindavan, and he met with this Brahmana and his beautiful wife, and then he had again that lust, that kama was there, that he wanted to enjoy with that Brahmana lady. And then after realizing his mistakes, he actually takes the hairpin of this lady and pierces his eyes, so that he never again able to see this material beauty and get attracted. That is the determination. So his determination was completely transformed from one thing to completely different aspect. We also see from the life of Chatush Kumaras, all these 4 Kumaras, they were the sons of Brahmaji. And they were having knowledge, and they wanted to have liberation. So they said that, okay, first of all, Brahmaji requested that we want to grow the progeny. That is the purpose. So please, so they refused to do that. Not only that, they remained as children, as Kumaras. They did not grow up because they did not want any of these things. But their focus was to merge with the Lord. Impersonal, this thing was there. But when they came at the doors of Vaikuntha, and when the aroma of the lotus feet of the Lord mixed with the tulsi, when that reached their nostrils, and when they smelled that fragrance of the lotus feet, the fragrance, they gave up their desire, their determination to aspire for this imperfect liberation. So these are some examples of dharma, artha, kama, moksha, and we can see many of these are there. We also see that how Hiranyakashipu, he was also having determination. But what was his motive? He wanted to achieve. He did so much of determination to achieve, and the end result was arrogance. So we don't want to have a determination which says that, oh, I achieved this. It's not for achieving, but for receiving the grace. So that can be achieved, that can be done only in the mode of humility. You can see that, Dhruva Maharaj in one sense was actually wanted to achieve that position, that Dhruva Loka. But when he received the mercy, his mood was completely different. It was completely mode of humility. So initially we may have a determination in the mode of passion, but ultimately it should translate for the purpose of devotional service. So whenever this determination starts, it will be always checked. When we start practicing determination, it will be checked. So we can see this from the life of Haridas Thakur, Srila Haridas Thakur, who was none other than Brahmaji, who came in the age of Kali Yuga as Haridas Thakur, born in a Mlecha family, low born. And he was very powerful. Brahmaji was very powerful, and it was not like us that he did not know who he is. Haridas Thakur did not know who I was in my past life. He knew that he is Brahmaji. But he practiced the humility, and he was called Namacharya. The first check was, there are many checks maybe, but I am talking about few checks. The first thing, when Ramchandra Khan became envious seeing the glories of Haridas Thakur, he sent this prostitute to him. And when this prostitute came, Haridas Thakur, as all of us know this pastime, Haridas Thakur just continued chanting in a humble mood. He was not boasting that, oh, I'm chanting so many rounds, so please come. It was not that mood. It was truly amazingly humble mood. He was saying that, okay, please wait, I need to complete my commitment of chanting. By seeing this commitment, by this humility and his attachment to the holy name, her heart transformed. So this is like one of the things which we see. Now we may sit for chanting and no prostitute will come here. Mayadevi will not come in the form of a prostitute. But Mayadevi coming in a different ways. The most important thing and a very dangerous thing which we have today, that we have our mobile phones, especially smartphones, which are sitting next to us when we are sitting for chanting. And this is a Mayadevi which is actually coming to us in the form of a prostitute. Because that phone has so many things which is more dangerous than a prostitute. So these checks will come, so we have to be careful. No? Then, later on, Haridas Thakur, the Nawab and the Qazi, actually they planned that how he is chanting the holy name, being born in this community or this caste, how is he chanting these names? So we should stop this. And they gave him the punishment of 22 marketplaces, punishment of beating him in 22 marketplaces. And still, Haridas Thakur, he said, the people, the soldiers who were punishing him, beating him, they are seeing that he is gone through all these 22 marketplaces. He's not dead, because according to the past experience, within 2 or 3 marketplaces the person will die. But Haridas Thakur survived. Not only survived, he was preaching to these people who were trying to punish him. And they said that you just stop this, you don't have to do anything else, just stop this chanting of this holy name. But what he said that Khanda Khanda Hai Deha Jaya Jadi Prana Tabu Ami Vadane na chari hari nama. He said that you may cut me into pieces, my body into pieces, but this body will not stop chanting the holy name. That was the determination of Srila Haridas Thakur. And later on, when Srila Haridas Thakur was in Jagannath Puri, about to leave his body, very frail condition, and the servant of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Govinda, he came to see and he said that, why are you in such condition? Why don't you take something? You can stop, reduce your vow. So he refused to do that. Not only that, when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally came, and he said that it's okay to reduce your vows, it is okay that you need not chant so much to take care of body. But in spite of even the Lord told, he refused. Now imagine that if the Lord tells, or even anyone, our authority says that, okay, you need not chant 16 rounds and chant little less, what will be our reactions? We can judge ourselves. What is our condition? So these are like some of the case studies which we see in the life of such various special souls who are teaching us that how we can practice determination. So I was thinking that probably we should discuss something of how to practice this determination, and I felt that there are 5 P's of determination. This P is the letter which I thought that we can see and try to focus. So one of the P's is prioritize. So priority is, we have to define that what is our priority, what is our long-term goal. That is one thing. That's how where we take our vows and our commitments. So this is the question, why we are doing this. This strong why should be checked. So then we know that these are our priorities. So then that is the first cycle, first P of that. The second thing is not only just prioritize and decide, okay, these are the things which we want to do, but we need to plan also. The second P is planning. So we need to plan how we are going to be determined in our life. What are the things which we should do? What are the things we should prioritize? What are the key things we should keep it on a second level? So once the planning is done, then the third thing which comes is practice. It's not that, okay, most of the times it happens that we may prioritize and plan, but we may not actually put it into practice. So we need to practice it, this determination. And this is the toughest part, Whenever we decide now, there will be checks will come, obstacles will come, and we say that we may give up. So no, so that determination need to be practiced. And how it should be practiced? It should be practiced with humility. Again, not like the Hiranyakashipu mood. Sometimes we say that, okay, now on Saturday Nirjala Ekadashi is there, and next day, the whole day with determination we are thinking of water, and we complete the Nirjala Ekadashi, and next day the Paran time come and then we drink and we said, finally I achieved one more Nirjala. So is that the mood are we looking at? So I don't think so. So we have to see that in what mood we should practice this. Then the fourth thing is push or pull. So I'm making is push or pull because different contexts can be taken. So this push is push of association or pull of association. The determination can be practiced by seeing or associating with the people who have determination. So we may have people around us who are very determined and they have shown determination. So just by being with them, we can practice determination. Or sometimes if they are not there, there are so many characters who are there in Srimad Bhagvatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and by associating, by hearing about these characters, we can get inspiration from them to be determined. So this push and pull is important. So we have to collectively push each other and pull each other to practice determination. So that is something which is another P which is there. And with all these things, the last but the most important thing is the prayer. Because ultimately this determination, to practice this determination, the power to practice this determination will come from the prayers, by the grace, by praying to the Lord, praying to the devotees, praying to Srila Prabhupada, that let me practice this to please the Lord. Ultimately everything which we are doing is to please the Lord. So how we can practice this that's important, but the most important thing is the prayers. So prayers to the devotees and the Lord, these are the 5 P's I felt that, which can help us to practice determination. So we see that, that even Chaitanya Charitamrita, Prataparudra, King Prataparudra also showed this kind of determination. So many other characters are there. So many setbacks may come, and Prataparudra's spiritual desire did not went down because of these obstacles. It was simply fueled. This spiritual desire just fueled with these obstacles. And these obstacles are basically what we see when we take our eyes off the goal. So these are the obstacles which are there. But when we are practicing with determination and focus, if that determination is lacking or that focus is lacking, even a small and insignificant issues can become a big block on our path to the spiritual life. So there are many examples, but I just wanted to quote. Prabhupada also practiced and exhibited this determination. But a few years back, I was reading this book, The Salted Bread, written by our Sarvabhaum Prabhu from Russia. So these two friends, Sarvabhaum Prabhu and Sachishut Prabhu, how they practice determination. Their names were Sacco and Gago. And they were living in Russia. And how that time the government was preventing them, prohibiting them from distributing books, printing books. And they were actually put into jail. And they had to go through many things. We cannot imagine, if you read this book, the kind of torture which they were given. It was like they were given injections, which will affect their brains, functioning of their brains. Physical torture. They just, like sometimes, between the door, their fingers were put into the doors and the doors were closed many times. The knuckles were broken. And they were, the name of this book is Salted Bread. Why this name is because they used to just survive in this condition because they were not going to eat onion, garlic. And Russia, there is no jail which will provide, probably in India also, nobody will provide that kind of food. So they're just eating very poor quality bread, and they used to just add salt and eat that. And this they were doing not for 1 day, 2 days, 1 month, 2 months. For 730 days, they survived just like this. And their beads were taken away. They were not allowed to chant. And they made the beads out of this bread. They added salt and many things, and then they created their own beads to chant. That is their determination to chant. And Sarvabhaum Prabhu says that one time, like, he fasted for 19 days. 19 days he fasted so that, he can create these beads. And by eating this food which is with only salt and bread, his gums and her teeth, they are become loosened up. So many tortures they have gone through. It is almost something like how Prahlad Maharaj went through when Hiranyakashipu was torturing. Something like that. But they exhibited that determination. And at the end, this Sachisut Prabhu, he left his body, and the person, Sarvabhaum Prabhu, survived. But Sachisut Prabhu, just few days before he was to be released, he left his body, and his cellmate who was there, he was telling that how this devotee, how this person was always smiling and trying to preach Krishna consciousness in that condition also. And when he left his body, he actually took the white robe, which was a chadar actually, and he made a dhoti. Then he made garland of papers, and he wore that garland. He wore the tilak with toothpaste. See, I mean, at that point also there's so much of creativity and so much of devotion was there. And he applied that, and he seated there. He was sitting at one place chanting the holy name. And he was smiling and chanting. And this cellmate actually went out for some time, and when he came back, Sachisut Prabhu was still in that same position and chanting the holy name. And then he said that he's not moving. And so he just touched, and he found that he was no more. He had left his body. But, till the last moment, he was determined. Both these people, devotees, there was so much determination was exhibited by them. So these are the, live examples in our life who are actually teaching us how to be determined, and how this death, the spiritual death, we should avoid this spiritual death in our life by being determined. So Srila Prabhupada has told that we have these books, we have the association and Srimad Bhagvatam. So these books and this association is the original Facebook. We talk about the Facebook. The books are the real Facebook is the scriptures, and this should be done face to face in the association of devotees. That is the real shelter. And if we can do that, then we can achieve the real success and there will not be any fear of death for us. Thank you very much for your patience and tolerance. I must have spoken something beyond my realizations, but thank you for bearing me. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.